All right, chat. This is one of my favorite stories. All right, let's read this article together and laugh our asses off. The Khive retreats as Kamala Harris' popularity vanishes. As Kamala Harris's popularity has waned, so too has her support among her most rabid and online followers. So for me, this actually proves something that's very important. Khive was always AstroTurf. It was always a bot farm by DNC operatives. There's a specific one that I'm thinking of. Her name is Sally Albright. I think she was a significant portion of the Khive bots. She's a fucking psycho. And as the DNC is pretty clearly not grooming Kamala Harris to take on, like, to step up and leaning more towards Pete, I think former Khivers are going to end up either, you know, homeless if they were with Kamala Harris purely because of identity politics reasons. They're not going to go to Pete. But if they were just ideological neo-libs, they're going to go to Pete. So it'll be interesting to see that division. To most of those paying attention, Vice President Kamala Harris appears to have hit the skids. Her approval numbers are lower than President Joe Biden's, as well as every of her predecessors at this point in office. Her role has largely been limited to casting tie-breaking votes in the Senate or managing the administration's stalled work on migration and voting rights. By the way, that's the place where the administration has been the most unsuccessful. Voting rights and immigration is where they've been the most utterly fail. That's what they're giving her credit for, where they failed the hardest? Oh! Fellow Democrats have begun openly fretting to each other and to journalists that she isn't ready to lead the party's national ticket, and one poll indicates that if theoretical open primary were held today, she might command single-digit support. She didn't make it to Iowa! The only person who thought she was a good candidate was fucking Destiny. She had 0 fans. And then I think he dropped her immediately for, like, Elizabeth Warren. But while they may not be as rabid as they once were, Harris can still count on the backing of one bastion of supporters, the Khive. Years after the end of the knockdown, drag-out Democratic primaries, the loose collective of digital warriors are still fighting on her behalf. And yet, according to some of the Khive's leaders, the vibe has shifted since the heyday of the 2020 campaign, when Harris' fervently, sometimes recklessly devoted fans earned compliments from the campaign and a request for support from Biden himself. The job of the vice president has always been to take on issues that may not be politically sexy or easy wins for the administration. She knew that when she decided to accept the president's offer to join the ticket, said Chris Evans, who's under the handle Not Captain America. I bet you I'm blocked by this guy. What do you think, chat? Am I blocked by this guy? What do you think? What do you think? Is Mike from PA blocked by this guy? Khive is so scared of me. Incredible. Incredible. That's not good. Has been one of the most visible members of the Khive. However, I think, how many followers do they even have? How many, how big are they even? Okay, 82,000 followers. I don't know. It doesn't look like they get a ton of engagement. By the way, if you block me, it's because you're a baby. I don't really I don't really do toxic shit. I'll occasionally call someone an idiot or a dipshit or illiterate, but as far as, like, mean stuff, I don't do that. I'm not that mean. I'm mostly talking about issues. So if you're blocking me, you're a fucking bitch. Adam Kirsch and Chris Evans launch Fusion Management. Clients include Sean Baker, Cooper Rafe, and Emily Demetz. What the fuck?
That's Braxis.
Indie multi-hyphenates and Artours. Oh my god, they're scumbag, they're scumbag Hollywood people? Oh, fuck off. He's got a podcast. The Wine Therapy Podcast? They stopped making them. They made it to 6 episodes, chat. They made it to 6 episodes. How many listens did they get? 118 followers, chat. Woo-wee! 118 followers. Do you know what this shows you, chat? Twitter is fucking useless. Twitter is fucking useless. Twitter people are literally just Twitter people. Totally useless. Mike coping hard because he can't crack 50K followers. True. I don't do enough of the stuff you need to do to be a successful Twitter personality. One thing you could do is just be a kind of like gimmick account or anonymous. Gimmick account or anonymous. That's the key. That makes it even less useful for you in like life, but you know. You have enough subs to afford a ton of bots? Why would I do that? I would never bot anything. I wouldn't spend $1 of your shit on botting. I would rather go buy McDonald's hamburger than bot a single account on Twitter. Fuck that shit. Useless. You gotta like the reply guys' tweets too. It makes your tweet high in engagement. No, thank you. I also am not in any like group chats. So you need to get into like a group chat with people, and then you need to like you know,
I'm a bot, Mr.
coordinate your shit better. Sai, thank you for the 5 months. Anyway, let's keep going. I'm consistently seeing people ask, where is Kamala? The Daily Beast reached out to more than a dozen high-profile members and former members of the Khive to see if, after 18 months in office, Vice President has lived up to their hopes. And while most say they have her back until the end, some quietly admit that the come down from the high of a victorious campaign has been harsher than they'd expected, not that they could ever say so publicly. I would never ever say that I regret supporting the first black woman vice president, ever. But the disappointment is real, said one self-described former member of the Khive who requested to speak anonymously so as not to alienate themselves from friends made through the movement. Ah! Gotta protect those Twitter follows. Amazing. By and large, the Khive, not being composed of the vice president's most fervent, being composed of the vice president's most fervent, and like online fandoms, occasionally insane supporters, does continue to largely support her, as they have since her relatively short-lived primary campaign. All right, this is even funnier than I thought. I love it. I fucking love it. They still sport bee emojis in their Twitter handles, and many who spoke with the Daily Beast pointed out that the vice presidency is in office that is by design second fiddle. Many feel that Harris is being held to a higher standard by dint of her race and gender. So this is like some of the funniest this is the funniest fucking lib shit where you're like, people don't like Kamala Harris because of her race and gender, not the fact that she can't put a sentence together, doesn't do her work, is not out there in any significant way at the front of the administration's efforts, because they know that she sucks. She has no charisma. That's why. If she was popular, they'd be using her. The last vice president was in charge of a public health crisis, and see what happened? You have over 1 million dead. You know that most of those people died under Biden, right? Most of those deaths were under Biden. You're blaming Pence for Biden's deaths? All right, I'll give you 2 months of Biden's deaths. I'll give you to March, all right? To March 2021, you could say that's Trump's fault. But after that, that's all you. Said Chante Berry, another prominent Khive member and organizer. He was handed a very complex portfolio like she was, and he dropped the whole entire ball. But even the Khive has slowed its roll since 2020, with the use of the hashtag on social media now being used to antagonize the vice president's fandom as often as it used to rally it. The Google Trend Review shows that interest in Khive has decreased substantially since the 2020 election, and some of the biggest figures have left the movement. Richie Colbert, who was once one of the most visible and controversial members of the Khive, told the Daily Beast, while she's a staunch VP supporter and always will be, she hasn't identified as a member of the community in nearly 2 years. I always understood Khive as a rallying cry and a hashtag, but after the VP was selected, the person who created it started talking about trademarking and ownership, so I decided to stop using it. And I just don't believe in answering to anyone in my advocacy, especially when I could be equally as effective without the hashtag. Liberal! Some supporters, I mean, this is the most liberal sentence I've ever seen. Somebody wanted to trademark the hashtag. Holy fucking hell. Her supporters continue to defend her from unfair, baseless attacks. But now that she's in office, they have largely pivoted to helping more Democrats at the federal, state, and local levels who will provide support for the Biden-Harris policy agenda. There are very real challenges for the party in the coming years, and I don't think it's specific to Vice President Harris. You need to focus on winning the midterms, and everybody's jumping ahead 2 years later. Like we're still in the middle of a primary, people. She broke ties about 13 or 15 times within the first year. We got to vote this year so that she doesn't need to spend every moment breaking ties. If she's not breaking ties, it's a problem because they're not doing stuff that's far enough to the left. I want to get more Democratic senators like John Fetterman so that Manchin and Sinema can go and vote with the Republicans for all I care. I want more ties that she's breaking. What the fuck? Internal disputes are almost as common as external disputes within online fandoms, political and otherwise. None of the Khive members who spoke on the Daily Beast pointed to any policy disagreements between members who have led to major fractures, as happened with the Yang Gang. But she admitted that they got caught up in standification of politics that became widespread in the extremely online political circles of the 2020 primaries. Coordinated harassment and doxing campaigns between supporters of Harris, Sanders, Yang, Buttigieg, and others, increasingly frequent headaches for candidates, particularly when they target rival supporters, staff, and reporters who were seen as insufficiently based. Y'all went a little nuts during the pandemic. My 10th millionth flame war was some Bernie bot that just gives us both palpitations. Nearly 1,000 days since they were the last rivals for the presidential nomination, the blood feud between Khive members in support of Senator Bernie Sanders continues to the members' exhaustion. Let's just chill and let the vice president do her job. Acting clownish on Twitter isn't going to make her job any easier. Oh, do you want to have a truce, Khive? Do you want to have a truce with the Bernie bros? Did we break you? Did we break you? Are you tired? No justice, no peace. They're breaking, chat! Onward! If you see a Khiver, if you see a bumblebee, that's time to gaslight, gatekeep, girl boss, go after them. I want to see the whites of the Khive eyes. Crush them. Finish them. No mercy. Don't forget slay queening. Oh, shit. You're right. You're right. I don't want to forget slay queening. Obviously, slay queen as well. I have a story I wanted to show you, chat. Kind of like a little bit of a sousson of old bald. Hillary Clinton calls Bernie Sanders sexist in new book. I knew the kind of things that he says about women. Hillary Clinton has ripped her 2016 Democratic primary rival, Socialist Vermont Senator Bernie Sanders, as a male chauvinist in a new book, hinting darkly that I know the kind of things that he says about women and to women. Your husband is a fucking pedophile. Your husband is on the Lolita Express 16 times. Her husband went on a trip with Kevin Spacey. What the fuck is his name? His name is Tucker something, right? Chris Tucker and Jeffrey Epstein. That is known to be a place where children were fucking sexually abused. How is this okay? How is this like not even a thing? The former Secretary of State's insinuations that included the forthcoming book Electable. One of the subplots of the book, which is excerpted by Politico Friday, is the running drama between Sanders and her fellow left-winger, Senator Elizabeth Warren. Clinton, who was watching the altercation, I think you called me a liar on national TV, Warren told Sanders, who responded, what? After Warren repeated herself, Sanders told her to tried to shrug it off, saying, let's not do it right now. You want to have that discussion? We'll have that discussion. Clinton, who was watching the altercation unfold, told Vitale, I believed her. Because I know Sanders and I know the kinds of things he says about women and to women. So I thought that she was telling an accurate version of the conversation they had. She's such a... Imagine being this dedicated of a hater, chat. It's actually funny at this point. However, the former First Lady added that she wished Warren had got over Sanders after his denial in the middle of the debate rather than confronting him afterward. You got what you wanted. You got Joe Biden. You guys won. During both campaigns, Sanders was accused of stoking a subculture of young male supporter dubbed Bernie Bros who bullied and harassed women who did not support his candidacy. In March 2020, after dropping out of the race, Warren told MSNBC that Bernie Bros had posted the home addresses and phone numbers of two women of color who work for or ran groups that had either endorsed her or not endorsed Sanders. The move, she said, led to an onslaught of online threats. Wait a minute, worked for or ran groups? So in other words, leaders of major organizations that were supposedly on the left didn't endorse the progressive candidate, and you're surprised that they got pushback? This rad lib shit is incredible. When asked by host Rachel Maddow if the harassment issue was a particular problem with Sanders supporters, Warren answered yes. Chat, Elizabeth Warren is a fucking snake and forever will be a snake.
Juice.
Has there ever been a woman mayor?
Not in Burlington. There have been, and there are women mayors all over the country. There's a woman governor. Who can tell me the name of our governor? Yeah?
I think it's Madeline Kuhn.
That's right, Madeline Kuhn. And Governor Kuhn is a woman. And there are other, not a whole lot, I think there's one other woman governor. There are the mayor of San Francisco is a woman, and there are many women mayors, but not enough. And one of the very important things, and I hope that all the girls in this class understand, that you, just as much as the boys, have a right to become president. There's not been a woman president, although there was a woman who was giving thought to running for president this time, from Colorado, a woman named Representative Schroeder gave some thought. So I hope that the girls will think that they have the right to be involved in politics quite as much as the boys do. It's beginning to change, but it's not changing fast enough.
What a sexist, chat. See, Bernie Sanders was the actual mayor of a small town city and cared about the development of the kids there and encouraged women to run when he was mayor. But what a sexist. What a sexist. Are you watching the stream unsubbed? You're making income inequality worse. You are doing anti-praxis. We are the only Twitch stream that will not accept scam advertisers, and I will never fuck you over by selling you crap.